Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. The 3 silver screen live action actors who have portrayed Spider-Man. Look at all these guys, man. They are all just so perfect for the role. Unless you're a fan who gets involved in dumbass fandom wars, it has come to my attention that many people hate on 1, maybe 2, or even all 3 of these actors who portrayed Spider-Man. Well, I honestly shouldn't say this has come to my attention. It's been in my mind for a few years, actually. With each new actor donning the mantle, fans get outraged and enraged about how one of these actors must be better than the other. One of them has to be better than the other too. Even after we got the amazing event that was No Way Home, in which all 3 were very clearly their own Spider-Man, but also, all of them were also a perfect Spider-Man as well. Yes, I do mean that. They all portrayed Spider-Man differently, yet they all are perfect in their casting. In this video, I am going to eloquently show you exactly how Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all portrayed Peter Parker's Spider-Man perfectly, even though they were all different. When you hear people complain about these performances you've seen on the big screen, you hear a lot of different complaints for all of them. But I find all of the complaints to just be superficial and short-sighted personally when it comes to making an adaptation of Spider-Man. We'll start with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Take Tobey Maguire, for example. A lot of the hate Tobey's Spider-Man gets is because he's dorky and nerdy. You'll often hear people say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man popularized Peter being a wet noodle, not someone who's fiery and often outspoken. And although this is sort of true, Tobey's Spider-Man did popularize this notion of Peter Parker. This is one of the biggest Spider-Man adaptations ever. But that doesn't actually tell the full truth. Spider-Man comics have portrayed Peter Parker as a dork and a wimp as a kid before Tobey was even Spider-Man. I get a lot of people want to blame it on Tobey, but this was in the canon. I know it's a bit mind-blowing for many people to not put Tobey Maguire as the very first wimp, or say Tobey Maguire being a wimp Spider-Man is sort of comic accurate, but it sort of is. Sam Raimi is the director for the very first Spider-Man trilogy, but he was not the first person in history to write Peter Parker as a wimp in high school. You can find Spider-Man comics that were written set in the past from prior to the first film's creation that show Peter was a wimp. Spider-Man's Tangled Web's first issue literally came out a year before the film, and in that issue, it shows Peter being a big old wimp in high school. So although I don't necessarily love this interpretation of the character, it's not like Sam Raimi set out to create some false notion of Peter Parker that never actually existed in the comics. It definitely did already. Tobey's Peter Parker adapts a more recent and contemporary view of the character, but that doesn't make it inherently bad by any means.
Here's your change!
Another issue you may hear about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is that he isn't funny enough, and although this is probably my biggest issue as well, it's still, in the grand scheme of characterization, a non-issue. Plenty of writers never manage to get Spider-Man's comedy down right. I'd argue most don't. You actually have to be funny yourself to make a character funny, and it's not easy being funny. Not everybody's got it like your boy Dunk. So even though people may find issue with the lack of comedy from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or the lack of fiery rebuttals to Flash Thompson in these films, I wouldn't say any of these faults make me think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man isn't a good Spider-Man. He's embodying things that we've certainly seen in the comics, and this stuff isn't even from the era that people can't stand. This is from well before One More Day. Tobey Maguire is a bit dorky and goofy, and he's not the funniest Spider-Man in the world, but Tobey Maguire is still a perfect Spider-Man. He still represents a part of Spider-Man we all need to see on the big screen. But at the same time, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is nothing like Tobey's, and yet he also is perfect. This man has the quips and the jokes down pat.
And I will be like a god to them.
A god named Sparkles?
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is also a bit more fiery when he stands up to Flash Thompson in these films.
Put him down! Eugene! Still not taking the picture.
But to many fans, Andrew has massive flaws of his own, completely separate from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Fans will say Andrew Garfield, no joke, this is what they will say, he's too hot to play Spider-Man. He's too hot. Are you serious? This guy's supposed to be hot. You gotta be out of your mind. Peter Parker's beautiful. Another complaint you'll hear about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is that he was too cool with how he was doing photography and skateboarding. Both of these criticisms, in my opinion, are utterly ridiculous and are not real critiques. For starters, Peter Parker is an attractive man. This is just unarguable. It really is unarguable. When this criticism was originally brought up, it was brought to life in like 2009-ish to 2013-ish, whenever the first film came out. I think it was 2011, maybe 12. When this criticism first came to light, when it first was brought up, Stan motherfucking Lee, the man, the myth, the legend himself, spoke on the topic. Do you want to know what this man said? The man Stan Lee said, if I'm not mistaken, I never thought of Peter Parker as not attractive. Well, that closes the book right there. That alone should completely dispel the notion that Peter Parker needs to look ugly and dorky. I get why people may think that Peter Parker was a loner when he was a kid. But to me, that is literally the most important part about it. He's supposed to be a loner. You don't need him to be ugly. You don't need him to be a dork. He should just be a social pariah. Even if he has great social skills, that doesn't mean people like him or he wants to be around them. Peter Parker's Spider-Man, most importantly, when he was younger, doesn't need to be ugly. He doesn't need to be awkward. He just needs to be a loner. That's what really matters to a young Peter Parker and getting his character right. And we certainly get to see that with Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. On top of that, the skateboarding and photography thing, like, this is such like a not issue. Like, I don't even understand how people could feign this as real criticism. I don't even know if I used that word right, but when like this movie was coming out, and especially back in the day, so like the people who were directing this movie and making this movie, skateboarding and photography were not seen as cool to this age range, this age group. The way society views these two things is not the same now as it was back then. Photography was for the artsy weirdos, and skateboarding was for, no joke, what older people would say back in the day. Skateboarding was for burnouts and dirtbags. I always find it so funny when people like my age or younger are like, this is terrible. Andrew Garfield's too cool. Why is he skateboarding around? This is way too cool for Peter Parker. And it's like, dude, like, if I tried to skateboard when I was younger, my mom would have freaking been furious. You're not hanging out with those kids out at the skate park? Like that kind of vibe, because skateboarding was not cool. Skateboarding was for the dropouts. I don't know. I think it's just so funny, the dichotomy between like what people my age view skateboarding photography as versus the people older than me, at least back in the day. Maybe things have changed a bit. Also, this just pays homage to Spider-Man and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Hold this kickflip real quick, you bunch of haters. Spider-Man being a skateboarder, there shouldn't be any problem with it. This is what loners do. They skateboard. They take pictures. I don't understand how there's any issues with this. Andrew Garfield may not have had the best movies around him, but his portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man is downright phenomenal, and goddamn it, I'm gonna say it, it's perfect. But then we move to Tom Holland, the most recent actor to don the mantle of Spider-Man. And well, he gets an array of criticisms levied his way, if I'm going to be honest, but I plan on tackling them all. A lot of these criticisms you'll hear is that you see Tom Holland is called Iron Boy Jr. He is a kid.
He's just a kid.
And he's not feisty or angry enough. That last one, we're going to just get it out of the way real quick. He's not feisty or angry enough. Did we watch No Way Home when he tried to kill the Green Goblin? Are we serious? Like, he's a kid in this first movie and the second movie. And the third movie, he's getting close to graduating high school, and then he drops out and gets his GED. And he's pretty much a young adult. I think it's okay that he's not the super angriest and feistiest person at the beginning of the franchise, as long as you're going to show that at some point, and they definitely did. Just going to dispel that right away. Now let's get to the Iron Boy Jr. and the crossover stuff people often have. Tom Holland's Spider-Man definitely plays a completely different Spider-Man than the other two. He's much, much younger in the sense that he actually spends a lot of time in high school. We've had 3 films, and all 3 of them had him in high school. But on top of that, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it's not like completely separate from the rest of the toy box like Andrew and Tobey's. Andrew and Tobey had no crossovers, no other superheroes in any of these films, period. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has had a crossover or been in a crossover in every single one of his appearances. I'm not even joking. Every single one. He's in Civil War, he's crossing over. He has Homecoming, Iron Man crosses over. He's in, Infinity War? Clearly a crossover. He's in Endgame, clearly a crossover. He's in Far From Home, Nick Fury crosses over. No Way Home, Doctor Strange crosses over. Heck, we already know, it's been reported both Punisher and Hulk will be in the brand new Day film coming out next year. So more crossovers are ahead. More crossovers are afoot. This issue, if you have a major issue with this, it's going to be prevalent forever moving forwards. But to me, I don't understand how you could have an issue with this if you're a big-time Spider-Man fan. Seriously. We could tackle the Iron Boy Jr. stuff in a second, but the crossover stuff we have to start with. Spider-Man literally has always been a vehicle Marvel has used to advertise their other properties. Way back in the day, in like 1970s, Marvel came out with Marvel Team Up Volume 1. And I know what it sounds like, Marvel Team Up. I bet they just have a bunch of Marvel characters team up. Sort of. They have a bunch of Marvel characters team up with Spider-Man. Damn near every single issue is Spider-Man teams up with The Thing. Spider-Man teams up with Kazar. Spider-Man teams up with Iron Man. Black Panther. Like, all of them are pretty much just Spider-Man teams up with blankety blank blank. So at the end of the day, I can't fathom why people are having issues with Spider-Man having other superheroes in his stories when he's always had other superheroes in his story and he's always been the character to have crossovers. Like, quite literally since before 99% of the people watching this video were born, Spider-Man was a crossover character. So I don't understand how we're having issues with this. But we're going to look at the Iron Boy Jr. comments next. The Iron Boy Jr. comments stem from the fact that Spider-Man looks up to Iron Man as a mentor in this universe, and that doesn't happen in the comics. It doesn't. I won't lie. I'm going to be 100% real and valid with you. That does not actually happen in the comics like that. But it's overblown how it's done in the movies. Sure, Tom Holland, Spider-Man has a connection with Iron Man in a mentor role. That doesn't happen in the comics, fair. But the movies themselves tell you that Spider-Man's job isn't to be Iron Boy Jr., it's to be himself, Spider-Man. Like, this is explicitly laid out for you in these films. I don't understand how anyone can parrot this Iron Boy Jr. nonsense anymore. Like, he can't be Iron Man. No one could be Iron Man. Even Tony struggled to be Iron Man. Peter needs to be Spider-Man. Happy almost directly says this word for word to the man Far From Home. I don't get why so many people are furious about this. On top of that, in that exact same scene, not just movie, in that exact same scene, Peter's using Stark Tech to make a new suit, and everyone's complaining and crying that, oh, they just had a whole scene that Peter Parker's not supposed to be Iron Boy Jr., and here he is. He's making a new suit just like Iron Man. He might as well just be Iron Boy Jr. But that's not what's happening. First off, making a new suit doesn't make you Iron Boy Jr. How many characters in the Marvel Universe do you think have suits? If we're going superheroes, every single fucking one of them. So it's an inane comment to say that him making a suit just because it's Stark Tech makes him Iron Boy Jr. When Electro's using Stark Tech in No Way Home, do we call him Iron Boy Jr.? No, that's fucking nonsense. It doesn't make any sense if that's your only argument. But to go even further, and why this doesn't make sense, this exact same scene has Happy say, you handle the suit, I'll handle the music. And then Happy puts on what song? He puts on Back in Black by AC/DC. This is the literal song that opens up the entirety of the MCU way back in 07, 08-ish. This was the first song that plays as the credits and the black screen are opening in the first Iron Man film. Iron Man loves this song. Iron Man loves AC/DC. So it makes sense why they would play it. Do you know what Tom Holland Spider-Man replies?
Oh, I love Led Zeppelin.
I rest my case. I don't know what more I need to say to show you this is not Iron Boy Jr. The motherfucker doesn't even know who AC/DC is, and it's like one of their most popular, if not their most popular song ever. Come on, man. Be so real with yourselves. You can't possibly be parroting this Iron Boy Jr. nonsense. And then the last thing I'll tackle with Tom Holland Spider-Man is the high school issue, because a lot of people have issues with Tom Holland Spider-Man being in high school. This should be a non-issue in my opinion. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was in high school for a whopping 15 fucking minutes. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was in high school for one movie. Tom Holland's Spider-Man being in high school for 3 movies, a trilogy, and he's getting more films? I don't see the issue. Spider-Man did not graduate high school until issue 29. Both of the other 2 Spider-Man, I would argue, did not make it that far, like, lengthwise. Like, I don't know if they earned 29 issues worth of time. Obviously, pacing-wise, you don't have to do it like that. I love how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man paces through it and gets right to the action. Fuck a high school Spider-Man. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have one ever. There's 29 fucking issues of the motherfucker in high school. What's the wrong with us doing them in high school? I don't get how this is an issue for people when they actually haven't done it in live action before. Sure, Spectacular Spider-Man is in high school, Ultimate Spider-Man's in high school, 2017 Spider-Man's in high school, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is all in high school. 4 cartoons in a row. I get it. They're all in high school, and it's annoying that we get a lot of adaptations of Peter Parker Spider-Man in high school. But those 4 adaptations should not really have any indictment on the live action films. I don't understand how you could even put the live action films and what they choose to do on the animated shows. Those need to fucking figure their shit out. The animated shows need to stop having Peter Parker in high school. But us getting one of 3 Peter Parkers in high school for 3 films, it's a non-issue in my opinion. Again, 29 issues, if I'm not mistaken. It might even be more. 29 issues he spends in high school before he graduates. Tom Holland being a Spider-Man in high school at least finally gives us a Spider-Man in high school for multiple hijinks. I don't see the issue personally. At the end of the day, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, in my opinion, is perfect, just like his other counterparts. I'm sure you've noticed, I brought up how all 3 of these Spider-Man have different criticisms and all portray a different type of Spider-Man, yet all are perfect. How is that possible? Well, that's because Spider-Man isn't a monolith. He's not written by one person and one artist who had one vision of the character as they wrote this one character for 60 plus years of stories with the character. No, that is not the case. Spider-Man has been written by literally hundreds of different writers across various different adaptations, alternate storylines, or whatever. Many of these people have different views and a different interpretation of what Spider-Man should be. After 60 years of differing writers with differing views writing the character, Spider-Man has grown to be many different things. Spider-Man can be shown as fiery, that's the OG way, but he also can be shown as a wimp.
Gee, did I say that?
That's a new contemporary view. Spider-Man can be shown goofy and dorky, or he can be hot. Those both happen. Spider-Man is a kid at some point. Yeah, that happened. Spider-Man also grows up and becomes a young adult. That also happens. Spider-Man definitely has partnerships with a large part of the Marvel Universe in the comics. I don't get why it's such an issue that people have problems with Spider-Man teaming up with other people. But then you also have the first two films, Spider-Man teams up with nobody. That's fair. Spider-Man used to be very averse to team-ups when he was first created. Spider-Man isn't just one specific viewpoint. You can't just be like, Spider-Man is this, and if nobody agrees, they're wrong. That's not how it works. It just doesn't work like that. Sure, we all have our own views on what Spider-Man should be. I myself have my own biases and my own favorite Spider-Man or my own favorite things about Spider-Man I like to see in adaptations. But that doesn't make me 100% right. It's just my opinion. I don't think any of these three Spider-Man, when you look at them, could you say that's not Spider-Man? Like, I just don't understand how you could say that. Look at Kraven from the Kraven movie, for example. This character is a bastardization of the comic book counterpart. Seriously, it's not a bad guy. He's hunting good guys. He's like an animal activist, rights guy. It's like, this is not Kraven, man. This is just not Kraven. If the name of the film wasn't Kraven, I'd have no idea this was supposed to be an adaptation of one of Spider-Man's most notable villains. Spider-Man's not even in it. There is not a single portrayal in live action of Peter Parker Spider-Man that's even close to a character assassination as a lot of the Sony universe or maybe even some MCU counterparts. We've gotten 3 different live-action Spider-Man, and every single one of those are very clearly Spider-Man. At the end of the day, all 3 of these guys portrayed Peter Parker very differently, yet all 3 of them, in my opinion, played it perfectly. All 3 of them certainly are Spider-Man. You will hear no more ifs, ands, or buts from me about the situation. That's pretty much all I got for you guys in the video. Dunk out. Peace!